The first thing I saw was her suitcase. Not mine, hers. Right there in my living room. Half zipped, carelessly open, as if the owner had no fear of being caught. My heart didn't break immediately. It paused, like it was trying to understand what my eyes were seeing before deciding whether to shatter or not. Then I heard his voice, soft, urgent. "Amaka, hurry up! The driver is already waiting." Amaka, my best friend, my sister, the woman I trusted with my life and my home. My fingers tightened around the handle of my own suitcase, the one I had dragged all the way from the airport, dusty and tired, filled with gifts and hope. Hope. How foolish that word felt now. I stepped further into the living room, and there they were, standing too close, too comfortable, too familiar. Amaka turned first. Her eyes met mine, and in that moment, everything inside her face changed.
"So this is what you do when I'm not around?"
The lie collapsed before it could even form. "Chioma," she whispered. My husband froze. Slowly, painfully slowly, he turned. "Chioma, you're back early." Early? That was the word he chose. Not, "I'm sorry." Not, "This isn't what it looks like." Not even, "Please forgive me." Early. I dropped my suitcase. The sound echoed like a gunshot in the silence. "I should have called, right?" I said quietly, my voice shaking despite my effort to control it. "So you could prepare?" No one answered. Amaka quickly zipped up her suitcase, her hands trembling now. "I can explain," she said. I laughed. It came out wrong, broken, empty. "Explain what?" I asked. "Explain why your things are in my house. Or explain why my husband sounds like he's escorting you somewhere." She opened her mouth again, but nothing came out. I turned to him. "Or maybe you should explain," I said. He rubbed his face, already looking tired, like I was the problem. "Chioma, this is not how I wanted you to find out." Find out. So there was something to find out. Something that had been happening. Behind my back. While I was abroad, working, saving, sacrificing for us. "For how long?" I asked. Silence. "For how long?" I repeated, louder this time. Amaka looked down. He looked away. And that was my answer. My knees felt weak, but I refused to fall. "You've been sleeping with my best friend," I said, my voice now steady, cold. "In my house." "Chioma, don't," I snapped. "Don't call my name like you still have the right." The room was suffocating. I looked at Amaka. Memories flooded my mind. The nights we stayed up talking, the secrets we shared, the tears we wiped from each other's faces. She knew everything about me. Everything. Even the things I never told my husband. "Why?" I asked her. Not angrily, not loudly, just broken. She finally looked at me, and what I saw in her eyes hurt more than the betrayal. Guilt. But not enough of it. "It just happened," she said softly. I blinked. "It just happened?" I repeated. "Yes, we didn't plan it." I laughed again, this time louder. "You didn't plan it?" I said. "So you just slipped and fell and landed in my husband's bed?" "Chioma, please," she whispered, tears now forming. But I couldn't stop. "You ate my food. You slept in my house. You called me sister," I shouted. "And this is what you were doing behind my back?" My husband stepped forward. "Enough," he said. "Stop shouting." I turned to him slowly. "Stop shouting?" I echoed. "Yes," he said, irritation creeping into his voice. "We can talk about this calmly." Calmly. I walked up to him until we were face to face. "Did you think of calm when you were touching her?" I asked quietly. "Did you think of calm when you were lying to me every single day?" He didn't answer, because there was no answer. I stepped back. Suddenly I felt very tired, very empty, like something inside me had died. "Are you leaving with her?" I asked. He hesitated. That hesitation was everything. "Yes," Amaka answered instead. My chest tightened. What? I whispered. We've decided, she continued, her voice shaking. We've decided to be together. Together? My husband nodded slowly. I didn't want to hurt you, he said, but I can't lie to myself anymore. I stared at him. This man, this stranger. Lie to yourself? I said. So what were you doing to me all this time? Silence again. Of course, they had no problem destroying me, but no courage to face me. I nodded slowly. All right, I said. They both looked surprised. All right, he repeated. Yes, I said calmly. If that's what you want, then go. Amaka blinked. Just like that? She asked. I smiled, a strange, painful smile. No, I said, not just like that. I walked past them, into the bedroom. Our bedroom. I opened the wardrobe and pulled out a small box. When I returned, they were still standing there, confused, waiting. I opened the box. Inside was the key to the house. And the car documents, everything I had worked for abroad, everything I sent money for, everything I built. I dropped the keys on the table. You can take the man, I said quietly, but you will not take my sweat with you. My husband frowned. What do you mean? I mean, I said, my voice firm now, this house is in my name. Silence. The car? My name. More silence. Everything you're standing on, I paid for it. Amaka's eyes widened. My husband's face darkened. Chioma? No, I cut him off. You don't get to say my name anymore. I pointed to the door. You want to leave? I said. Leave properly. He looked around. For the first time, he looked unsure. You're serious? He asked. Very. Amaka shifted uncomfortably. But where will we go? She asked softly. I laughed. That same hollow laugh. That's not my problem, I said. They exchanged glances. The confidence they had earlier was gone. Reality had entered the room. I thought, Amaka began, I thought you'd understand. Understand? I snapped. Understand betrayal? She started crying, but I felt nothing. Nothing at all. My husband sighed. Let's go, he said to her. She picked up her suitcase, slowly, reluctantly. They walked toward the door, together, just like they had planned. But something was different now. The excitement was gone, replaced with uncertainty, fear, regret. At the door, he paused. He turned back. Chioma, Don't, I said. He swallowed his words. Then he left. The door closed, and just like that, everything was over. The silence that followed was louder than anything I had ever heard. I stood there, alone, in the house I built, with the memories they destroyed. And then, I broke. I sank to the floor and cried, not just for the betrayal, but for the years I wasted, for the love I gave, for the trust I handed over so freely. I cried until there were no tears left, until my body felt numb, until I couldn't recognize myself anymore. Weeks passed, then months. People talked, of course they did. They say her husband left her for her best friend. She went abroad and forgot her home. Maybe she wasn't a good wife. The story spread, but I stayed silent, because sometimes silence is stronger than explanation. I focused on myself, my work, my healing, and slowly, piece by piece, I started to rebuild. One evening, there was a knock on my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened it, and there they were, both of them, standing there. But they didn't look the same. They looked worn, broken. Chioma? Amaka said softly. I didn't respond. What do you want? I asked. My husband stepped forward. We made a mistake, he said. I almost smiled. A mistake, such a small word for such a big damage. We thought we were in love, he continued, but everything fell apart. I crossed my arms. And? I asked. He hesitated. I want to come back, he said. I looked at Amaka. She was crying. I'm sorry, she whispered. Please forgive me. I stared at them for a long moment. Then I stepped aside. They looked hopeful, like maybe, just maybe, I would take them back. But I didn't. I walked to the door and opened it wider. For what? I asked. They froze. So you can leave again? I continued. Or so you can finish what you started? Chioma, I mourned you, I said, my voice calm but sharp. I buried you in my heart. Tears rolled down Amaka's face. I changed because of what you did, I continued. I became stronger, wiser, harder. I looked at my husband. The woman you left, I said, no longer exists. Silence. Heavy. Final. You don't get to come back to a place you destroyed, I said. And then I closed the door, gently but firmly. That night I sat by the window, not crying, not angry, just peaceful, for the first time in a long time, because I finally understood something. Sometimes losing people is not a loss. Sometimes it is freedom.